You felt it this morning. Maybe it was a noise outside your window. Maybe it was a message you were waiting on. Maybe it was absolutely nothing at all, just a sudden tightening in your chest and a voice somewhere behind your eyes whispering, "Something is wrong." And here is the part nobody tells you. That voice is not broken. That voice is ancient, and it has been running your life far longer than you have. The feeling has a name in neuroscience. Researchers call it anticipatory anxiety, but that clinical label hides something far stranger. Because what your nervous system is actually doing in those moments is scanning for a predator that stopped existing 12,000 years ago. You are not anxious. You are haunted. Let that sit for a second. The human brain you are carrying inside your skull right now was not designed for the world you woke up in today. It was shaped, slowly, brutally, over 2 million years, for a world that wanted to kill you. A world of open savanna and low firelight and things moving in the grass that you could not see. Your ancestors who survived that world were not the calmest ones. They were not the most logical. They were the ones who flinched first. The ones who ran before, they were sure. The ones whose brains learned a single overriding rule: assume threat, then check. Those people lived. Their genes are yours. The ones who paused to evaluate. The ones who waited for more evidence before reacting. Many of them became evidence themselves. This is what evolutionary psychologists call the smoke detector principle. Dr. Randolph Nessa at Arizona State University, one of the leading researchers in evolutionary medicine, described it this way: a smoke detector that goes off when you burn toast is not malfunctioning. It is doing exactly what it was built to do. The cost of a false alarm is low. The cost of missing a real fire is everything. Your brain is that smoke detector, and it has been going off for toast your entire life. Think about the last time you got a message from your boss that just said, "Can we talk?" No context, no tone, just those 3 words. What happened in your body? Your heart rate climbed, your stomach tightened, your mind immediately started generating scenarios, none of them good. You started rehearsing conversations that had not happened. You started preparing for outcomes that may never arrive. And here is the fascinating part. You did all of that in under 2 seconds, without choosing to, without being asked. That response, that cascade of physical reactions to a string of 3 words on a screen, is the same neurological machinery your ancestors used when they heard a branch snap in the dark. The same system, repurposed, misfiring, running from ghosts. The mechanism itself is centered in a small, almond-shaped structure deep in your brain called the amygdala. Neuroscientist Joseph LeDoux at New York University spent decades mapping what he called the low road, the neural pathway that lets your amygdala process a potential threat and trigger a stress response before your conscious mind even knows what is happening. By the time you think, "I am scared," you have already been scared for nearly half a second. The feeling comes first. The thought arrives to explain it. This is not a flaw. In the ancient world, half a second was the difference between alive and gone. But in the modern world, that same hair trigger system is reading your inbox. It is reading the comments on your post. It is reading the silence from someone who has not texted back. It is reading a stranger's expression on the subway. It is doing all of this constantly, involuntarily, and in most cases, completely unnecessarily. And the truly disorienting thing is this: your brain cannot tell the difference. Dr. Martin Seligman, whose work at the University of Pennsylvania laid foundations for modern understanding of learned helplessness and anxiety, noted something important. The human brain did not evolve to distinguish between a social threat and a physical threat. The pain of rejection activates the same neural pathways as physical pain. The fear of embarrassment recruits the same alarm systems as the fear of injury. To your amygdala, being laughed at and being chased are roughly equivalent emergencies. So what does this mean for your daily life? It means the ghost is everywhere. It lives in the pit of your stomach before a presentation. It lives in the loop of replaying a conversation you had 3 days ago and finding every possible way it went wrong. It lives in the 3 o'clock wake-up, when your brain decides the middle of the night is an excellent time to review every unresolved problem in your life at high volume. None of those threats are lions, but your body does not know that. Here is something even stranger. The ghost does not only make you anxious, it makes you social. Anthropologist Robin Dunbar, whose research at Oxford produced the now famous theory of social brain evolution, argued that the human brain grew larger not primarily to solve tool problems or navigate terrain, but to manage the complexity of group relationships, because in the ancient world, being cast out of the group was not just uncomfortable, it was a death sentence. No group meant no fire, no protection, no food sharing, no one to watch while you slept. The ghost that haunts your fear of rejection is the ghost of isolation, the ghost of exile, the ghost of being alone in the dark at a time when the dark was genuinely lethal. Your need for approval is not weakness, it is survival code written in 2-million-year-old ink. And this is why social media is so particularly devastating to the anxious brain. It is not just an app. It is a threat detection system being handed a fire hose of ambiguous social signals. Every metric, likes, comments, follower counts, views, gets run through the same ancient machinery that once evaluated your standing in a group of 150 people. The machinery was calibrated for a tribe. It was not built for an audience of strangers. It was not built for the ability to compare your status to millions of people simultaneously, in real time, at all hours. No wonder the numbers feel like life or death. To the amygdala, they are. Now here is the twist. Researchers studying what is called the negativity bias, the human tendency to register and remember threatening or negative information more powerfully than positive, found that the brain dedicates significantly more neural real estate to processing bad news than good news. A single criticism hits harder than 3 compliments. Dr. Rick Hansen, a neuropsychologist who has written extensively on this phenomenon, described it plainly. The brain is like Velcro for negative experiences and Teflon for positive ones. This is the ghost at its most active. It is not just scanning for threats. It is cataloging them, weighing them, filing them in long-term memory, while the good things slip past, barely recorded. The ancient logic makes perfect sense. Remembering where the predator was is more important than remembering where the berries were. You can find more berries. You cannot unbe eaten. But that same logic, applied to your life today, means your brain is running a highlight reel of every mistake, every awkward moment, every criticism, while the warmth, the success, the ordinary good moments dissolve almost the moment they happen. You are not pessimistic. You are prehistoric. So what do you do with all of this? The answer is not to fight the ghost. You cannot outrun 2 million years of evolution by deciding to be less anxious. The amygdala does not respond well to being told to calm down. What researchers in the field of cognitive neuroscience and mindfulness have found is something different. Naming the process changes your relationship to it. When you recognize what is happening, when you say to yourself, "This is my smoke detector. This is the low road. This is ancient threat detection running on a modern problem," something shifts. Not immediately, not completely. But the gap between the alarm and your response starts to widen. And in that gap is something the savannah never had: choice. Dr. Viktor Frankl, the psychiatrist and Holocaust survivor, whose observations on human resilience became foundational to modern meaning-centered therapy, wrote that between stimulus and response, there is a space, and in that space lies your freedom. He did not know about the amygdala. He did not know about the low road or the negativity bias or the smoke detector principle. But he knew something those neuroscientists later confirmed. The awareness of the mechanism is already a step outside it. Your brain will keep firing. The ghost will keep knocking. But now you know what it is. Tonight, when that tightening happens, when your chest pulls tight over a message, or a memory, or nothing at all, some part of you will recognize it, not as a malfunction, not as proof that something is wrong with you, but as the oldest signal in human experience, passed down through every ancestor who survived a world you will never have to face. You felt it this morning. You will feel it again. And now you know you are not anxious. You are ancient. And the ghost you have been running from has been trying, in its